You look at Europe, 9.1% inflation rate. What's your interest rate? 0.75%? What are you kidding me? If you borrowed money from the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, you got to raise your interest rates 1% over the inflation rate. So the interest rate in the EU should be what? 10.1%? And it's 0.75? The game is over.
Please join us for our next live stream Sunday, October 23rd at 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll go over current events, past guests, and of course, gold and silver news. Once again, our next live stream will be Sunday, October 23rd, 9 p.m. Eastern. See you then. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Silver Bullion Television, SBTV. I'm your host, Patrick Vieira. Gerald Celente joins us today. And Gerald is the founder and director of the Trends Research Institute and publisher of the weekly Trends Journal magazine. He's the author of the highly acclaimed and best-selling books, Trend Tracking and Trends 2000. And we're delighted to have Gerald join us once again today. It's time to saddle up and silver up for Gerald Celente. Gerald, welcome back to SBTV. How are you doing?
I'm okay, but the world is pretty screwed up.
I appreciate you spending some time with us once again. Gerald, you have been bringing up the concept of the battle is spiritual, war or peace, good or evil. Which side do you choose? Can you share with us what brought you to want to share this view?
The war, the Ukraine war, and the other wars. I launched Occupy Peace back in 2014. What's your favorite American war? Do you like the Vietnam War? No, I like the first Iraq War. No, I like the second Iraq War. The Afghan War was terrific. Oh yeah, those wars, by the way, according to the data, cost Americans $8 trillion plus, and it killed over 1 million people. What did it accomplish? Well, it made the military-industrial complex richer, destroyed entire nations, destroyed the lives of millions of people. For what? And now the same thing's going on in Ukraine. Look, here's the Trends Journal from 2014. It's about America's coup, the overthrow of the democratically elected president of Ukraine, Viktor Yanukovych. All the details are there. Leading up to it, we wrote articles about how they taught Americans how to hate the Sochi Olympics because they came at the same time, and they used it as diversion. So they built the Hate Russia scheme as this was going on. And this is just this is the article about the overthrow. Washington is driving the world to the final war. World hegemony is not a right America has earned. That's by Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, former Assistant Treasury Secretary under Ronald Reagan. Here's the article we did. See the Sochi Olympics. Security expert. It's not if, but when for Sochi Olympic terror attack. And they put this veteran security consultant, Bill Rathburn, Bill full of crap. What's this veteran BS, right? Hopes that he's wrong about the upcoming Winter Olympics in Russia, but he has more than a hunch that he's not. Quote, the security threat is higher than it's ever been in the history of the Olympic Games, Rathburn told Yahoo News. In my opinion, it's not a matter of whether there will be some incident. It's just a matter of how bad it's going to be. All right? They set it up. So now people don't know why Russia invaded, and I'm totally against the invasion, but I understand it. After the war began, the Ukraine war in 2014, they had the Minsk Agreement. And that separatist region down in Donbass, which is all Russian, that voted for Yanukovych, they said, no, we were going to be separatists. And the Minsk agreement was drawn up by France and Germany. They violated it, the Ukrainians. They killed over 15,000 people in the Donbass region. That doesn't make the news. And then there was a thing called the breakup of the former Soviet Union, and an agreement made by Gorbachev and Reagan and Bush Sr. Quote, NATO will not move 1 inch further. There were 16 NATO countries, now there are 30. So if they had Russia up in Canada with missiles aimed at the United States, and China down in Mexico with missiles aimed at the United States, that would make everybody happy here. So this whole thing, you know, we saw it coming. We knew it was going to happen. And rather than negotiating for peace, NATO and the United States keep sending more weapons to keep bloodying the killing fields in Ukraine. So going back to the cover of the Trends Journal, you know, what side do you want? Are you on the side of Satan and war? Or do you believe in a God of peace? Who's your God? Hey, where are all the religions? What do the Buddhists have lockjaw? Where are the Catholics? Hey, how about those Episcopalians? Haven't heard anything from the Seventh-day Adventists. Where are the Muslims? You know, where's everybody talking about peace? Where are all these religions? What do they got, lockjaw? What God believes in war? Tell me. Tell me the God that believes in mass murder and war. And people march off to this crap and believe it? We're not at a proxy war with Russia. We're at war with Russia. Hey, Patrick, send me some guns and weapons. I want to go blow the guy's brains out across the street. Are you an accessory to the crime? When all else fails, they take you to war. You go back to the Trends Journal cover 2 days before Russia invaded. From COVID war to Ukraine war to world war. When all else fails, they take you to war. They screwed this economy up in the global sense. They've destroyed the lives and livelihoods of billions of people with the COVID war. Destroyed it. Locking down businesses. Hey, I'm the governor. I'm the president. I'm some piece of crap politician. Close down your business. Stand 6 feet apart. Put a mask on. Go out of business. Look what's going on with the commercial real estate sector. Look at office occupancy rate. In Europe, it's about 45%. In America, it's about 50%. How about all the businesses that depended on commuters? How about all the people that, hey, I don't want this office space anymore, man. Don't need it. I got people working from home. This is real. We are in a geopolitical and socioeconomic crisis, the likes of which have never been seen in modern history.
Gerald, what happened? I mean, why can't politicians, much less the media, why can't we just simply be told the truth anymore?
The politicians are mentally deranged bitches and bastards. They're mentally ill people. End of story. Do you ask a mass murderer why they did it? They're mentally ill. Dwight D. Eisenhower, 5-star president, supreme commander of the Allied forces in World War II, and 2-term president. Look it up. Any man seeking the office of president is either an egomaniac or crazy. How about Donald Trump? What about Biden? Look at Obama. How about the clown freak they had over there in the UK, Boris Johnson? A cartoonist couldn't come up with a more freakier figure. How about that arrogant little boy, Macron, over there in France? One piece of garbage after another.
If you're enjoying this interview with Gerald Celente and I, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and letting the algos know you'd like to see more content like this. And if you'd like to learn more about systemic wealth protection, please do visit us at www.silverbullion.com.sg. Gerald, if you don't mind, I'd like to move over to the Fed because you've said something pretty interesting where you think the Fed may actually raise interest rates only some 25 basis points at the next FOMC meeting. Gerald, why the slowdown?
Yeah, they're going to do anything they can to boost the equity markets before the midterm elections. Maybe 50 basis points, 25, 50. The numbers just came out in the United States on the inflation numbers. They were higher than expected, and so you're looking at a annual inflation rate in the U.S. at about 8.1%, and your wage increase is about 5%. So the people, and the numbers are much worse than that because they rigged the numbers. So, for example, housing prices that have soared over the last 2.5 years, they're not included. The price of steak goes up. No, that does. People are eating chopped meat now. They change their eating habits, so we go on their habits. The numbers are rigged so they don't have to increase a lot for the Social Security, and so they don't have to raise interest rates as high as they really should. So inflation is much worse than that. So what they're going to do with the midterm elections, they're going to, they're power-hungry freaks. I believe they're going to only raise them 25 basis points, so the markets skyrocket. So the next Fed meeting ends on November 2nd. The elections in America on the midterms are November 8th. So if you have the market shooting up on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, and the elections are on Tuesday, as the old saying goes, quote, it's the economy, stupid. That's all the people think about. So the morons think that what's going on in Wall Street is representative of Main Street. So if people hear, wow, the market's going up, things are good again, they'll vote, they'll get votes. That's all they care about.
Okay, so let's say the Fed does raise it just some 25 basis points at the next FOMC meeting to help out some politicians, influence the markets. What then happens next after the elections?
They'll raise them again. They'll raise them after the midterms, and then they'll lower them again before the 2024 presidential election. They do it all the time. Go back 40 years. 40 years, markets went up after the midterm elections. The numbers are there. It's a rigged game.
All right. How high do you think interest rates can go, and what will be the tipping point before the Fed pivots, or will they pivot?
The tipping point's already happened. Look what's going on around the world. Look at Europe with the European Central Bank. What do you have? What do you have? 9.1% inflation rate in Europe. What's your interest rate? 0.75%. What are you kidding me? What am I, 6 years old? Who are you talking to? If you borrowed money from the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, you got to raise your interest rates 1% over the inflation rate. So the interest rate in the EU should be what? 10.1%? And it's 0.75? I'm telling you, the game is over. Look what's going on look, the yen is at a 25-year low. And they won't raise interest rates, and they're pumping more money in. Look what's going on in the UK, the disaster. When all else fails, they take you to war. What followed the Great Depression? World War II. What followed the dot-com bust? The war on terror. The NASDAQ was down 66% before 9/11. People will forget all about it. There's going to be a false flag attempt or something that's going to take the war. And by the way, Ladies and gentlemen, the banking system has been hacked. We're sorry. We're going to do everything we can to get your money. We'll do our best. All right? They'll pull any game they want.
Yeah, you kind of answered my next question because I was going to ask you where they're taking us. I mean, you have the Fed, you have governments, you have media, social media, all telling us, things that kind of sort of don't make any sense here. And then you have Janet Yellen coming out and saying, here the economy is doing pretty well. So, I guess you kind of answered my question where all of this kind of adds up to they're really trying to take us to war.
Yep. U.S. economy is not doing well. You get the Trends Journal. You see every week we put in the layoffs. One big company after another. Bop, 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 bop. No. Look what's going on in China. The lockdowns are continuing. Look at the unemployment rate of the people, the young people. It's like what, 13-14%? And now people are starting to protest and they're putting more mandates, the zero COVID policy. Look what's going on in Italy. Again, it's in your Trends Journal. Over 100,000 small and medium-sized businesses are going out of business. And now, because of the imbeciles that put the sanctions on Russia, your energy prices are skyrocketing, hurting businesses even more and the people. It's out of control. It's out of control. And then not a peep about peace. Oh, when Musk came out about peace, they attacked him. It's satanic. It's demonic.
Since we're touching on Europe, we know that winter is going to be pretty challenging for Europe this year with the energy crisis going on. Gerald, do you think Europe will be able to stick together and come through this winter together? Will we see Europe starting to divide a little bit? Or how about NATO? Will NATO even be able to stick together?
Yeah, they're going to take us to war. And people forget it. Look, before the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, 80% of Americans were against World War II getting involved. And again, Pearl Harbor, they knew it was coming. America's helped instigate it, cutting off Japan. It's totally reliant on outside sources for oil, couldn't get any. And again, Japan was pulling their own crap. And they went to war. Again, a little ignorant piece of scum crap with a pair of cojones smaller than a mothball, a little daddy's boy piece of crap, George W. Bush. His ratings were plummeting before 9/11. 9/11 happens. We're going to get that guy, Osama bin Laden, dead or alive. 88% of the American people supported him. It's going to happen. There's going to be a false flag event. Something will happen. And the people will all stand behind the lunatics in charge. No, the economy's crashed. It's over. It's over. It's gone. The COVID war, the damage it's done. Look at, again, the motto of the Trends Journal is history before it happens. Go back to March of 2020. We warned of increasing crime rates. Look at the crime rates now. Take a ride on the subway of New York City. It's a night in Calcutta, but worse. People leaving the cities like crazy. The crime rates are skyrocketing. When people lose everything and have nothing left to lose, they lose it. And they're losing it. They're losing it and the fish rots from the head down. They're losing it at the top and they're losing it at the bottom.
Gerald, what are you seeing as far as the strength of the US dollar? How is it continuing to get stronger against other currencies? And at the same time, its purchasing power lessening through inflation?
Very simple. The dollar is strong because the other currencies are so weak. Look again. Look at the sterling. Oh, it's only at an all-time low. How about the euro? Oh, yeah, we're going to keep interest rates really down into the toilet, and the euro keeps going lower and lower. It's at a 20-year low. There's no competition, even though the United States has a debt level of over $31 trillion. And as long as they keep raising interest rates and they're above the other ones, the dollar stays strong. It's not that the dollar is strong because of the strength of the dollar is strong because of the weakness of all the other currencies and the other economies. It shows you how bad the situation is in the world.
Gerald, you've been a buyer of gold for quite some time. Have you ever wavered or wondered if in all the years of your buying gold, if it was the right thing to do?
My first buy of gold was at $187.50 an ounce back, I think it was 1977 or 78, around then. And I've been buying it ever since. I buy it and put it away, buy it, put it away, buy it, put it away. No, to me, gold is the number one safe haven asset. And although gold prices are going down because the U.S. dollar is getting strong, when things get really terrible, people are going to be, gold is the only safe haven asset, as I see it. And I don't give financial advice. The motto of the Trends Journal is think for yourself. We tell you what in the world is going on, what it means, what to do, but you do what you want to do. We give the trend analysis and the trend forecasts. Again, there's no magazine like it. We tell you exactly what the facts are as they're being reported. As they're being reported, and we take it from many different sources. So, we'll take it from the American sources, we go to the UK, from Bloomberg to CNBC to the Financial Times. We go all over the world. We put down what they're reporting, and then we give our analysis, so we're not skewing it. It's our trend analysis, and then we give you our trend forecast. Okay, here's our analysis. Here's our forecast, and what we're forecasting from the information out there. Again, look how late they are in saying it. Oh, the IMF came out and said we're going through a terrible time. Oh, they just came out last week? Oh, the World Bank said. Now the World Bank said. So they gave this clown Bernanke a Nobel Peace Prize. This guy, again, was in the Trends Journal back in 2008 and 2010, how he was wrong about the panic of '08. Said it wasn't going to happen. Said real estate prices wouldn't go down. And with a big real estate bubble going on. And they give that clown a Nobel Peace Prize. You know why? Because it's the Nobel Piece of Crap Prize. They gave it to the murdering SOB, Barack Obama. After they gave him the Nobel Peace Prize, he goes a troop surge in Afghanistan. And then I want that guy Gaddafi out of there over in Libya, and we'll destroy the richest country in Africa. I want that guy Assad out of there in Syria. But he gets a Nobel Peace Prize. It's a Nobel Piece of Crap Prize. We have mentally deranged people running and ruining our lives, and people better wake up to this, because World War III has started, and your life is going to be beautiful under the cloud of nuclear destruction. If people don't do anything, we are finished. And I launched Occupy Peace, and I'm doing everything I can, and I'm a warrior for the Prince of Peace. And if people don't do anything, good for you. Be a coward, so I can't do anything, and rot in hell as they turn life on earth into a living hell.
Gerald, you have been a patriot and continue to be a patriot, a warrior in this quest for the preservation of freedom, and we thank you. We thank you for this. How does this battle affect your personal life?
What I do, it makes me very sad, but if you ever saw where my office is, I have here well over 200 plants. I take care of them all. I surround myself with beauty. I have art everywhere. I cook. I have gardens. I I try to stay in the best physical, emotional, and spiritual shape I can as an antidote to the terrible situation that's going on in the world and how it's robbed us of our life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Could you imagine that used to be the Declaration of Independence? Not one of these scumbags talk about happiness. Happiness has become a dirty word. So I try to live the life that I want to live. But it makes me very sad to see what's going on as a trend forecaster. And that's my message to everybody, by the way. Get in the best shape you can, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. You think I want to work out every day? You don't think I want to drink more wine than I do or eat more pasta than I want to? You know, you got to do it. I don't want to become an inmate in a nursing home. If I make it by next month, you know, because you never know what will happen in life, I'll be 76 years old. I don't want to be an inmate in a nursing home. And so I try to do the best I can to stay in the shape I can. And by staying in the best shape you can, you become the fighter that you are. And I'm a fighter. I used to teach close combat. I had my own school for many years. You know, I'll attack the attacker. Somebody tries to attack me, I'll kill you. And that's no joke. Stay away from me. I'll stay away from you. You stay away from me. And that's the way the situation should be on in the world. What's going on between Russia and the United States and Ukraine is none of my business. It has no effect on me. This has been going on for 300 years between these two countries. They're taking down the statue of Catherine the Great because she didn't like the Ukrainians. So that goes back to 1750. I care what's going on between China and Taiwan, where it's going back to the Ming Dynasty. This is none of my business. I'm an American. I believe in the founding fathers, no foreign entanglements. And that's the way I live. You do what you want to do. It's not my business. Husband and wife are fighting with each other. You better straighten it out, man. It ain't for me.
All right, Gerald Celente, before we wrap up, can you tell us a bit about the Trends Journal and how the viewers can follow you?
Go to trendsjournal.com, trendsjournal.com. There's no magazine in the world like it. You get a 30-day money-back guarantee. There's nothing like it. You get it. What is it? Last week was, 147 pages, 155 pages, 190 pages. You know, we're giving you everything we can, no advertisements. Oh, I can't read all that. You read what you want. We cover the world. And we're showing people how they can prevail, prepare, and prosper in these very difficult times. And we're giving it every ounce of energy we can to give the best we can. So go to trendsjournal.com. It's only $149 a year. You get the New York Times, the toilet paper record, $3 a day for crap, for propaganda. BBC, bullshit maybe. That's what they should call it. You know, so we don't, we're political atheists. We don't take a side on things. You know, and again, there's no Trends magazine in the world. They call Trends magazine what fashion is. Yeah, well, that's not Trends. It's bullshit. You know, so we're giving you what we can. And again, the facts are there. History before it happens. Ukraine war and what was going to happen as a result of it. 2014.
Yeah, you did. You called it back in 2014. You know, Gerald, one last question before we head out here, before we go. Apologize for that. Because we get this all the time, you know, with everything that's going on in the world, people are curious. Do you think the government will confiscate gold the way they did back in 1933?
I told you what they'll do with false flag. They'll confiscate your money out of a bank. Very quickly. 9/11. USA Today used to be a big newspaper, and they used to run my top trends every year. So in 2000, in December of 2000, just before 2001, the headline read, 2001 won't be our year, Trendseer says, and I warned that a wave of anti-Americanism was sweeping the globe and Americans would be safe at home or abroad. So when 9/11 happened, I'm watching it all happen, and they said the planes were coming down the Hudson River. I'm in New York. I know the Hudson River inside out, upside down. And there's Indian Point nuclear power plant, 45 miles just north of New York City. I said, if they hit this nuclear power plant, there's going to be chaos like you can't imagine. I call up the bank. I had certificates of deposit in those days. You used to get money on your interest back in those days. And I said, listen, I had my guns, gold, and a getaway plan. I'm about 4 hours away from Canada. I figure if they blow up this thing, I'm going to take the back roads up to Canada. I got my gun, I got my gold, and I got my getaway plan. I said, transfer my money to the bank in Rhinebeck. That's where I lived at the time. I'm sorry, Mr. Celente, certificates of deposit are traded on Wall Street. And Wall Street is closed. You can't get your money. Got it?
All right, Gerald Celente, we thank you for your time. I hope we can do this again soon, and let's hope that war doesn't show up.
Now, hope is the most negative word in the metaphysical dictionary. It means wanting to hope for something to happen without doing anything to make it happen.
All right, thanks again, Gerald. Take care.
Okay, man.
That was Gerald Celente sharing his views on the economy and geopolitics. To see more of Gerald's work, please visit trendresearch.com. If you like this video, please consider subscribing, sharing, and giving us a thumbs up. Audio-only versions of this interview can be found on iTunes and Spotify.